Amazon shared their percentage of sales on first-party and third-party platforms Vendor Central and Seller Central in response to a subcommittee on antitrust following the July 29th hearing in 2020 this year. It's interesting to see some of this data. I'll talk through it and share some observations as well as other interested parties and what they have to say. My name is Stephen Pope, and I'm the founder of My Amazon Guy. So this post was first brought to my attention through Andrea Leigh on LinkedIn. So she says, Newsflash, Amazon shares their percentage of sale on first party and third party on private label by category in the written response to subcommittee on antitrust following the July 29th hearing. So she highlights a few different things. She goes through fashion, all the different private label brands, overseas, fast fashion, all that good stuff. And so her conclusion is given Amazon's preferential treatment of private label in search and beauty, grocery, and health and personal care, this low penetration surprises her. I suspect it's largely due to critical holdouts such as Starbucks. And she also mentions only 3% private label penetration in electronics. Amazon must not be selling as many devices as it seems. So I believe these are her red circles that she put in to kind of highlight some of those changes. You can see all of the different percentages. So, for example, we got consumer electronics at 43% of total sales volume. First-party sales at 3%. 97% of those are third-party. So the non-private brand category here, that should be, nope, okay, so over here, we got the far right-hand column, the third-party sales. This is Seller Central on this column here, and then you got Amazon.com or first-party. That is when somebody sells through Vendor Central, and when they show up on Amazon.com, they show up as sold and shipped by Amazon.com. So you can see all the different percentages here. I did find that grocery is one of the hardest categories to get a margin in. So you can see consumables. I believe that's going to be part of the grocery category. There's some interesting facts or observations. So Chris Green, not surprised to see 3P dominating consumables. It's a hard category to make money or shipping relatively low-cost products that manufacturers have historically not converted to efficient online packs. That's a really astute observation. I personally have gone through this. In fact, I've got a failed product behind me. So I used to sell this Monster Sweet Heat, which was a really cool idea of a product, but it's a really heavy product. And so I actually lost money trying to sell this thing on Amazon, especially when they've shipped it in padded envelopes instead of boxes, those idiots at FBA. Got to bite the hand that feeds you sometimes. So it's interesting. I totally agree with Chris on that one. However, there was a little bit of a different opinion from JT Meng. He says, thanks for your insights in the summary table. Super interesting. I think if we drill down another level or two, the subcategory product group were a slightly different story. These categories are so huge, especially when 3P sales are included, and Amazon's private label business is so new and relatively small. Especially in consumables, they've been strategic from both a selection standpoint and how they invested. Amazon private label either doesn't exist or is almost irrelevant in most subcategories, which I think is the biggest driver of the low share percentage we see at the category level. If we look at specific subcategories that they're obviously identified as strategically important, like baby wipes or a certain HBC subcats, I actually don't know what HBC stands for, we'd see that they perform much better. The Amazon Elements baby wipes once had 20% share and leveled out at 10 with fierce competition in P&G, KC, etc. So JT's really onto something here. I totally agree with what they're saying. So as you kind of dive in and look at this data, you're going to get a lot of different takes, hot takes even, on what this could mean. So here's my take. I think that Amazon's going to do whatever it can to make money. They're going to continue to put consumers first and sellers last. And we've seen their entire system kind of break down this year in various capacities. It's made my job harder at running an agency trying to help sellers on Amazon. but it's also made our agency more valuable because sellers are increasingly having to come to us to get assistance because Amazon's entire system is incomprehensible in many instances. So I don't think we're going to see too much development on antitrust conversations at the government level. Basically, Amazon is a marketplace. They let anybody sell. What I do think will happen, though, is that the government's going to be like, well, cool, you can sell your own stuff on Amazon, but you can't advertise your own stuff on other people's product pages. That's not fair. That's antitrust, monopoly issues. I think that might be something that comes out of this situation. But I don't think anybody's going to say, Amazon, you have to stop selling products. That's not going to happen. There is some concern about Amazon taking seller data and running with it. But the thing about that is that tools like Helium 10 and Jungle Scout basically show all the public data on sales velocities anyway. So I don't see a problem there. What I do see a problem with is that when somebody is selling an item and they have a manufacturer and they own that manufacturing facility, and then all of a sudden Amazon starts contacting them. And the only way they would have gotten that information is if they looked at an invoice that you had to provide to Amazon to ungate the category. So it's kind of a little, antitrust violations. And so when Bezos went before Congress, he basically admitted, he's like, I can't guarantee that hasn't been taken advantage of. Now, at the same time, speaking from personal experience, the left hand at Amazon doesn't know what the right hand is doing, not because they've put barriers in place, but more so because they're incompetent, in my opinion. I don't think that they have done a good job of creating a culture of shared resources at Amazon. Instead, what we've seen them do is compete for resources. So there really isn't a reason that somebody at Amazon would share that data with another department. It doesn't help them personally, unless there was a kickback of some kind, but that would be really shady. I'm sure that happens on occasion. But long story short, it's just kind of interesting data. Probably nothing actionable coming out of this information, right? Like, you're not going to change your seller strategy based on what Amazon's doing. You really can't, unless you sell batteries. In that case, well, you're in trouble. But if you're selling a niche item, that's where it's at. I also predict that Made in the USA is got a good future on Amazon. There's a lot of incentive to make high quality, locally made goods. I think the supply chain is in disruption mode. In fact, I'm on the record saying I think just-in-time supply chain is completely broken. So it behooves you to localize, stock up. When we see Q4 hit this year, we're going to see massive stockouts. And it doesn't matter if Amazon's in your category or not. Everybody's going to see stockouts this year. So hopefully you found that interesting or valuable. Feel free to add to the comments. If you ever do need any agency work at Amazon, feel free to give myamazonguy.com a view. We grow sales every way we can through advertising, design, SEO, and more. Hope to hear from you soon. My name is Stephen Pope, and I'm the founder of My Amazon Guy.